Top of the morning to you, and welcome back to Hagan's New Jersey PIP Tips, where we bring you monthly segments on New Jersey auto insurance personal injury protection, otherwise known as PIP. Well, we hope you have a great time celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Be safe, but have a good time. We got a few things coming up. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the reading, shouldn't say some, the reading I've been doing the last week regarding the PIP reform in 1997-98, and I'll tell you a little bit why. We'll also talk about some upcoming events with the New Jersey Association for Justice convention, along with the ANJC for the chiropractors convention. We have our featured provider of the month, Pereira Chiropractic, and then finally we'll pick the new winner for this month. So let's get right to it. Well, as you can see, I'm in my Irish green and I got my Jameson here to enjoy the day, but I will do it responsibly. So today I want to start off by talking about something I've been doing research the last week is regarding the tort and PIP reform back in 1998, where there was an outcry for the outrageous policies where they were running people about $1,000 a year. Looking back, we probably would say, wow, only $1,000. I know personally speaking, I'm more than 4 times over that. And I got one of the, I've shopped around for policies. But what they were focused or committed to doing was to try to bring down the cost of auto insurance. There was a bipartisan committee that was formed, and I have an issue on one of my arbitrations, particularly dealing with the expansion of the new policies that they created in 1988, which were policies below the $250, everywhere down to $15,000 worth of PIP limits. So under current law, based on that reform, they allowed consumers to choose less insurance down to a minimum of $15,000 worth PIP, plus they created what's called a basic policy, which gives you $15,000 of PIP, $5,000 worth of property, and pretty much nothing else. So puts everybody else at risk. So whether those reforms actually led to price decreases, which was the intent, I think the answer is in the 27 years since. So anyway, in order to figure out this legislative history about this expansion of what the definition means and to try to draw from it, I've had to read through all the committee hearings, at least the ones I've been able to find online through the state, and they were lengthy. They were lengthy hearings. Most of the transcriptions were over 100 pages, and I probably read over the last 3 days 15 or so committee hearings. I read the statutes as proposed, as adopted. So it was a lot of reading. I know there was good intent, but even then they recognized that with the proposed changes, whether it was to create what we have, options for consumers, or whether it was to just decrease the overall PIP limits to a lesser amount. At that time, I believe they said 80 or 90% of the bill, medicals for an individual injured in an accident were under $10,000. So a lot of the talk was, well, we can do maybe a $10,000 or $15,000 PIP limit, although there was concern for people with catastrophic injuries. And that's one of the things I was researching. So they were concerned with keeping those people protected who had serious, permanent, significant, substantial injuries. And language came out with that, although it changed. And I was hoping within the committee report they would talk about those changes and why they went with a particular language versus the other. And again, this is all about expanding. If you took a limited $15,000 or a $50,000 policy, whether you can expand it back to the $250,000. And the language talks about significant or permanent brain or spinal cord injuries. And that's what I submit as one category. And the second is treatment, medically necessary treatment for any other permanent or significant injuries while you're in a trauma center until you're out of that severity. And didn't exactly say the exact wording, but so I have it as two. Some people read it as one, that the brain or spinal cord injury, substantial and significant brain and spinal cord injury, along with any other permanent injury, it's only to pay the bills while you're in that trauma center until you're out of that situation where it's no longer considered an emergent trauma. That doesn't make sense based on even how it's written. It could have been written clearer, but even the grammatical creation of the sentence, it talks about two categories: for medically necessary treatment of brain and spine, or for medically necessary treatment for any other permanent or significant injuries that occur in the trauma center. But again, some people and some arbitrators read it to combine to say, no, it's only covering the treatment. And if you read the legislative history, although after reading it all, I was hoping they would say, no, we got to do it this way. So the prior language talked about specific conditions. And in terms of the spinal cord, the prior language only talked about paralyzed individuals, quadriplegics, where the new language talked about permanent or significant spinal cord injuries. So I think there is some help there. It's not 100% clear, but it was interesting to read, not only for that issue, but to see how they talked about tort reform, whether to get rid of the verbal threshold, keep it, tighten it up, options on policies and how much it would save. Even then, they were only talking of a savings of between $8 and $30 for a policy period, so that they spent this much time over, which at the time was a real outrage of being the highest insurance rate in the country at $1,000. That $8 was the solution. And if you look today, when you take these policies, every time you take a policy, there has to be what's called a coverage selection form that you have to fill out. And it'll give you the specific dollar prices that you save. And often to go from $250,000 worth of PIP benefits down to as little as $15,000, you're only saving between $8 and $48 on those policies. Now, some policies, if you're in a high-risk area, you've had multiple accidents, moving violations, yeah, it might be more significant because you're a high-risk driver. But for the majority of us, it's minimal savings to go down to a $15,000 and give up $235,000 worth of coverage if you're involved in an accident to pay your own medical bills. So it was an interesting experience. This was the creation of the peer reviews, the decision point review plan, the current arbitration system, and it was an interesting experience for me to go through to do this research and try to read that many pages over the past week. So hope you found it informative. If you have those situations where you're not sure in terms of coverage, whether it was a valid selection of a limited, I do have that class action lawsuit going on with other law firms against Geico. But if you have that situation, or whether it meets the exception, whether the policy can be expanded, or any questions about New Jersey PIP, always feel free to reach out to me. You can call me at 732-722-2911, or you can email me at sean@seanhaganlaw.com. Awesome. I'll try to keep you updated, anything new. One of the things that was talked about in that, even back in 1998, was the fact that it was so overdue for the fee schedule, and we're right back there again. The fee schedule has not been updated in 12 plus years, and I think, although they said they're working on it, we need to get moving on that, because inflation has been outrageous, particularly over the last 4 to 8 years, and the prices just keep going up. So let's get that new fee schedule. Next, I'd like to talk about the winner, the provider of the month from last drawing, and that's Pereira Chiropractic. Congratulations. They're located at 311 Chestnut Street in Newark, New Jersey. Dr. Pereira was born and raised in, or grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and returned to practice there. As you can see from their website here, they provide chiropractic treatment, spinal decompression, in-office x-rays, all types of modalities, therapies. They have office hours Monday through Friday, including in the evening, to help with those people that work. They treat auto and personal injury claims, along with just wellness. If you need to reach out to them, get in touch with them, you can contact them at 973-821-7243, or through their website, you can electronically send the request. And as always, if you have any problems with getting in touch with the provider, you can always reach out to me and I can make the introduction connection. So congratulations to Pereira Chiropractic, and it's been a pleasure receiving your correspondence and working with you. Thank you. So as you know, each month we do a drawing. To get entered into the drawing, all you have to do is communicate with us. Emails, phone calls, mail, send your demands for arbitrations to be filed at no cost to you. Anytime you communicate, we put you in for the drawing, and you get an opportunity to be selected for featured provider of the month. If you don't win this month, there's always next month, so keep them coming. So the winner is We Care Medical. Congratulations, We Care Medical. We'll be in touch with you for next month's video. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video today. Please like, share, and subscribe to the link below. Have an awesome St. Patrick's Day. Have an awesome March and welcoming of spring. As always, we're never too busy for your kind New Jersey PIP and personal injury referrals. Thank you, and God bless.